Hey y'all, this is Marissa with the Art of Ecology, and today I am going to be talking to you about our Honeysuckle Negroni. That's the cocktail we're making. But I promised some information about invasives versus natives and why the invasive honeysuckle, this Amur honeysuckle, is so not great for the environment. What does invasive mean, and what does it mean in relation to native plants? Let's start with, what does native versus invasive mean? A native plant is one that was here it's indigenous to here. It's been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. These are plants that are used to the climate, they're used to the habitat, they have adapted alongside all of the wildlife here for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Invasive plants are ones that have been brought over from other regions, whether accidentally or on purpose, for some sort of reason. In the Japanese and Amur Honeysuckle's case, it was erosion control, ground cover, and also kind of like a living fence. So in an agricultural area, especially one like Pennsylvania, these living fences to help separate cattle and to provide some sort of habitat was kind of important in like the 1960s, early mid to 1900s. What wasn't known was the damage that these invasive plants would cause. They came in, they have no natural pests, no natural diseases, no natural predators. Animals aren't used to, what is this thing? I don't know what it is, if I can eat it, how to use it properly, and therefore they spread like wildfire, outcompeting the native plants, creating their own space. As you can see, this honeysuckle here is just going absolutely bonkers, covering the surrounding plants, which in a plant like a honeysuckle, which can be a vine, can actually suffocate those trees and plants underneath. And that leads to why this is a problem for native species. Native species are being outcompeted. They're trying to grow, and this is just smothering them. Invasive species are wreaking havoc on the ecosystem in that way. Like I said, the wildlife don't really know what to do with it in most circumstances. Sometimes the wildlife have adapted and figured out, wow, this is actually really yummy. Great! But they're still spreading and outcompeting the native resources. Those native resources are so important because they are highly nutritious. They have adapted alongside the native wildlife here, so they're providing valuable nesting habitat, valuable places to raise young, to take shelter. They're providing stream and erosion control in what's known as riparian zones, then providing habitat for those riparian zone animals like amphibians or turtles. And when these invasive come through and just wipe out the native populations of plants, this can really decrease the quality of life, not just for the plants, but for the wildlife that has grown around. So what do? Well, through Trails to Tasting, we eat the invasives. While that's not the end-all be-all, that's not going to solve the problem, it's at least something that we can do. We can also plant natives and remove invasives from our own backyards or our own community. Another way is to plant natives in your own backyard. If you don't have space, do you have any containers or pots or window boxes that you can put out and add some native plants? That's a great way, even if you only have that much space, to still increase habitat. Don't know what natives are in your area? Use the National Audubon Society's Native Plant Finder tool. All you need is your zip code, and just Google Audubon Society Native Plant Finder. It'll be the first thing that comes up. Type in your zip code and it will give you a list of the native plants in your area, the benefits that they have for wildlife and the ecosystem at large, and you'll be good to go. Now that we know what invasive versus native mean, you can kind of use that for when we make our honeysuckle. If last week you were able to make the honeysuckle bitters out of this invasive honeysuckle, now we will use those bitters to create our honeysuckle Negroni. All right, to make our Honeysuckle Negroni, we are going to use our bitters. You can see that now it's become just a clear liquid after that long process. So we're gonna use things at a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's 1 ounce of our honeysuckle bitters, or the Campari substitute, 1 ounce of gin, and 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, key sweet. In your shaker, add an ice cube or so, and all of your liquid. Smells good. Then shake it up. Strain into your cup. I'm just gonna dump it in, get that ice in there too. And now, garnish with your citrus that you used. If you used orange for your bitters mix, use an orange peel. If you used lemon, lime, whatever you used, for me it's grapefruit. So garnish with a twist. You know what? I'm gonna do this, so as I squeeze to get my twist, any of the juice is just gonna fall right in as well. So I've got my little twist, dink, right in there. And there you go, you have your Honeysuckle Negroni. Whoa! It's really strong, but really sweet. I mean, it's all alcohol, so there's that. But it's really sweet, really smooth, so that's fun. Okay, cool deal. Did you enjoy your Honeysuckle Negroni and all that foraging goodness that went into it? Click here to subscribe to my channel to stay tuned for all things the art of ecology. Thanks for watching. Definitely one you've got to sip, but it's good.